Move on, Mark. Move. Does a pine probably isn't. Let me tell you guys about my day. Alright, that should be okay. Let me tell you guys about my day. My mom got out of the shower and typical of her. Laura, is this a tick? She always thinks things are ticks, okay? Remember, we live in, it's Massachusetts. It's high likelihood of Lyme disease, okay? You know, I was reading like 50% of freaking deer ticks have Lyme disease, which is sickening. Anyway, Laura, is this a tick? Laura, is this a tick? Has it ever been a tick when she thinks it's a tick? No. Whole point I'm trying to make, though, is if she's going to be living alone, remember her choice. Her choice. She needs to be more self-sufficient, okay? And certainly be able to know if something is a tick and check it on herself and not be, no, is this? Anyway, well, today it was a tick on her arm. We don't know how long it was there. We have no tweezers. I did not know. I didn't know if she wanted to go to the doctors. We wound up going to the doctors. Which on the weekend is obviously not the doctors. A few years ago we went to the hospital, took a taxi there, but anyway, on the weekend it's not your regular primary care physician who's only there, not there on the weekends. Nobody says. So you go to an emergency, you go to urgent care. I'll spare the details. Bottom line is we went to the doctors, but after I'd already pulled it out, I used tissue, pulled up. Oh, speaking of which, I have to throw away the tick. I didn't know the doctor. It was worth the peace of mind because she was so nervous. I'm like, Mom, you didn't break your leg, you didn't break your arm, okay? It's just a tick. We all get them. But I was afraid that I'd left parts of it behind, and I told you when I called about him, I didn't talk to the vet, but everyone tells you a different thing. The person who answered the phone is not the vet, she's just someone who works there and answers the phone, but she has a dog, and she's like, I think it's she was like, that's an old wives' tale, you can't leave the head behind. What could the damage could the head do? It's not attached to its body anymore, I don't know. But I still read it online, okay? But there was a doctor online who wrote a thing, and he said, if you think that any part of the tick might have been left behind, he says it can still transmit disease. I don't know. And he says to go to a doctor. Well, I didn't know if I'm taken with a tissue and no tweezers. Who knows? But turned out my mom got a huge peace of mind because this doctor, she got a huge peace of mind. He has a thing, you look, and he's like, you did really good. He told me you did really good. There's mandible, nothing's left. I'm like, oh, good deal. It didn't look like I did good. It looked like it was not the whole tick. It looked like it was broken in half, but he said there's no pieces of tick in there, so that's all we need to know. And then as a precaution, gave my mom 200 milligrams of doxycycline. I wound up going grocery shopping, and the church woman, me instead of my mom. But I got home and I'm putting all the groceries away, and we'll get to that next. I want to throw up, it's so, first of all, I've been noticing, and I asked Selena, she said that means it's broken. I'm like, well, it's working all right. Refrigerator, yellow, rusty, gross shit is leaking under, and you can see it. It's coming out from the, and I know that something's wrong, but I wasn't able to move the refrigerator, so now I was able to move the refrigerator, took everything out. Figured I had to clean it out anyway to make room for the food that I did major shopping, because I went, usually my mom goes, she can't do major shopping. Church woman said, do major shopping, so she gave me the the green light to do major shopping, so that's what I did. She said, buy for a couple of stock. She didn't say stock, she said buy for a couple of weeks, but you know me, I took advantage of that, because normally my mom just picks up shit here and there, and so do I when I'm walking. She'll pick up stuff, not major shopping after church, so I did major shopping. Even got rain checks for some things that they didn't have. They were sold out. Then I'm waiting for her, and I see what looks to me like a small coyote. And I say to this woman I think she was in her car, I'm like, do you see that? Is that a coyote? She's like, yeah. She's like, it's something. It was, are you sure it's not a fox? Didn't look like a fox to me. It looked, and later I was talking to Joe, and he's like, you sure it wasn't a dog? It was not a dog. That was something. It was a coyote, I believe. I believe it was a coyote. And it's not going away, and I'm yelling at it, okay, because it wasn't that far away from me. So then I walk over to see if it's like gone or if it's whatever. I'm curious about it. Oh no, I know what happened. I was curious about it. I think I walked closer to it to see what it was, because it wasn't leaving, it wasn't running away. And someone had a big dog tied to a tree over there. Now we know what the coyote was up to. And I was upset about that, because I thought a dog is helpless if it's tied there, and the coyote might want to attack it. So this car drove through and said, and they like scare the coyote, and then they're like, why don't you untie the dog? I'm like, I'm not going near that dog. That dog could bite my face off. You don't go near a strange dog, period. You don't do it. Well, in my world, you don't do it, but then other people get involved. I'm upset. I want the store to and the store is coming out, wondering what's going on, and I think I went in and said, there's a coyote, this is a dog tied out there, and this coyote, can you please make an announcement in the store? So then we got people involved, and a guy got out of his car and went right up to that dog, and I'm like, God, you're brave. You don't know that dog's going to bite you, but he wasn't afraid. I don't know why. And it turned out somebody shopping had tied the dog there, which is good, because I wanted to know what happened. And church woman was picking me up. This is when I was waiting outside, so I was glad she didn't get there immediately, because I did a good thing. I got the store involved, and I said, you need to please, can you make an announcement, see whose dog this is? People, I wasn't the only one upset, let's put it that way. It turned out it was a friendly dog, but I wasn't going to go near him. He's huge. I don't know what the people in the car expected. Like, why don't you go and tie him? What, and let him run loose? Or just hold on to him? Like, what do you think? Somebody belongs to someone. And then people were having conspiracy theories. Well, he has no, that's a weird way to tie it, and it was thrown, and blah, 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 whatever. But it turned out it was somebody walking, and somebody who had gone to the store. And to me, it's like, why do you have to bring your dog to the store in the first place? Attracted a coyote. Oh, and then the guy was saying, I was afraid for the dog. He's like, that dog would have torn that coyote apart. And I'm like, you think? He's like, oh yeah, look how big he is. And of course, church woman, I can't say I love her to death, but I appreciate everything she's done for my mom and for me. Let's put it that way. But she always thinks she's right. I'm not even arguing my own point. It's so annoying. I won't argue unless I know I'm right. I'm not trying to argue. I'm arguing someone else's point that they did to me, and she's arguing right back. She's like, I'm like, well, that guy said that that dog would have ripped the coyote apart. She's like, no, it wouldn't have. That dog is helpless. He's tied to a tree, and you don't know if the coyotes have sharp teeth. Oh, whatever. You think you know every fucking thing. It's so annoying. I don't argue unless I'm positive I'm right. You know what I mean? I just don't do it. That's just me. I don't argue unless I'm positive I'm right. But church woman, that's her, whatever. She just always thinks she's right. And I don't know who's right. My first inclination was to think, yeah, the dog's in danger because he's tied. He might be big, but he can't, he's tied. And whereas the coyote can go around and attack him from behind. So I tend to lean in the direction of the church woman as opposed to the guy who said, no, this dog's huge. He'll rip the coyote apart. I'm not so sure about that, especially if he, you know, so although I tended to lean in the direction of the church woman, she acts like she knows, and I don't like people like that. I only argue if I'm positive I'm right, or she just argues. And I told you in the past, she was arguing with me about shit I knew she was wrong. She was arguing, regarding shit which I knew she was wrong, having to do with mental hospitals and medication, and how psychiatrists and mental hospitals behave, and et cetera, et cetera. And I forget the situation, but I put her in her place because she pissed me off. She, you don't know everything. Don't act like you know everything, please. So annoying. Especially when you're arguing with something that I know more than you do. I know, because I've experienced it firsthand. You're arguing with me about something I experienced that I know. Having to do with how they behave, and I wish I could remember what it was. Talked to Joe for hours. And I cleaned while I was talking to him, and scrubbed on the counter, and took everything out of the fridge. I'm procrastinating right now, but I needed to set you up for this. I want to throw up. It's so disgusting under that refrigerator. I'm only kidding around, so don't jump down my throat, but I jokingly, I said to Mama, like, because she'd never do it. I'm like, you should pay me to do this. But I'm kidding, but, she'd never do it, nor would she expect me to do it. You could hire someone to do it, but it's so gross. It's so gross. I don't want to do it, and I'm exhausted. It's been a long day. Her going, being all upset about the tick, and then we have to get to the doctors, and oh. So, without further ado, let me show you how disgusting it is under this refrigerator. I just want to throw up. Remember, the mouse was running around under there, too. I saw it when the mouse was here several months ago, so it's equally disgusting under our stove, if not worse. I don't know. I can't move the stove. It's too in that compact thing. I can't, but... and I don't know what's wrong with the refrigerator either. This is gonna gross me out so badly. And the food's out too, Lowered the heat. Food's not gonna thaw that fast. I remember 2 years ago, time just goes by so fast. I broke my foot and I threw away all the stuff that had been building up in the freezer in containers for years because I never marked them. And then I'm like, I won't do that this time. Of course I did. It's the same fucking shit. I don't know what's in the freezer and it's not marked, and I don't know how long it's been in there. And took everything out of the freezer though and found a couple of pounds of hamburger, organic hamburger, mind you. Expensive shit. So that was worth it in and of itself. But I'm not gonna, put this refrigerator back. I got it clean under there. I don't want to. I think I might not be able to do it all tonight. I might have to show you guys and then put the food all back in and then do this tomorrow. I'm exhausted. I was supposed to go back to bed for a while and then she had the tick and then I'm like, alright, do you want to go to the doctor's? And she didn't, then she did, you know, so. Anyway, let me show you how gross it is under our refrigerator. Put the goddamn strap on this. Really stupid of me. Alrighty. Look how gross this is. Don't throw up. I want to throw up. I gotta clean. I'm the one who has to clean it. I said, Mom, you want to clean it? Of course she doesn't want to clean it. It would never get clean. It would be like this for the rest of her life if she lived here. Look at this. Isn't that awful? It's awful. It's disgusting. And the thing is, I knew it was going to be, if it's showing the leaking through the fridge, you know, underneath, then I knew it had to be bad when I would move it. I saw it over there, and then I was like, and I asked Selena about it, and she's like, that means it's broken, it's leaking. I said, really? I didn't know that. Did not know that. Look at all the food. Look at all the food. It needs to go back in the fridge. Watch me clean this shit. My jeans weren't clean today, so I found these. These are like, you know, these are stupid kind of pants that, whatever. I don't care. Talked to Joe for a couple of hours. He was telling me how. And I thought it was some new revelation. I'm like, did that just happen now? He's like, no, but I was watching. I forget who he said he was watching. And, oh, so gross. And, he was saying how NASA admitted that the Earth thing, when we see it from, that it wasn't really taken from outer space, that it's round, and that kind of supports the flat Earth theory or flat Earth belief or whatever. I said, what does it matter? I don't care, Joe. I have so much other more important things to worry about than whether or not the Earth is flat or round. He's like, but that proves that we're being deceived. I know. I have too many other things to worry about. She's like, all the shit going on with the president. You know, I said, do you think he'll be reelected? She was like, I think he will. Like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care either way. I think it's all bullshit. And, you know, I have too much of my own shit to worry about. Like, this is so sickening, gross. At this point, some of you are saying, all right, Laura, it's not going to clean itself, is it? Yeah, I know. How do I proceed? I don't know. I've been wearing one-day contacts. My eye doctor actually recommended. He's like, I so rarely wear contacts, like only when you go out, which most of you just wear glasses. You might as well. You'd probably be better off just getting the one-days because, you know, you use them so rarely that when you get the other ones, you have to throw them away in 2 weeks anyway, and you have to deal with solution and all that. So I tried the one-day ones. They give you, I didn't know I was going to get a whole week's worth try them out. Then I was sick and I didn't do it. It's like I have to reapply for Omar to be my ESA. So I was sick, and when I did it a few years ago, they said that the therapist they said the therapist was going to call, and then no therapist called, and then I was told, oh, it's at, oh, God, it's at their discretion, and, it's at their discretion, but then this time around, I had to respond really fast about the call, and I didn't even know what was going on, and my emails got all built up, and I didn't know who was contacting me, and she'd already introduced herself, but I hadn't got that email. It got lost in the chaos, and then she didn't hear back from me to set up a time, the 15-minute thing, and then they canceled on me, but they'll let me reapply, and they'll give me back my full refund, but I have to they already refunded me, but minus the therapist fee, but they'll give me back everything as long as I reapply. But then I've been sick, and I didn't do it, but I periodically told them I've been sick. This is so disgusting. I'm just disgusted. Remember, the mouse was running around under there several months ago, too. Like I should be wearing a hazmat suit, and I'm dead fucking serious. This is so gross. The fridge is working fine. Selena said when that's doing that, it's leaking. But it's working okay. I mean, we haven't any problems with it. Sickened by it, but I told you I'm not going to leave my mom high and dry. And that means all the repairs in the house are going to be done before I leave. So the kinds of things. We still need the bed set up. We've got, I want that set up anyway, because I'm not leaving during the winter time. Okay? Especially if I'm going to go temporarily into a shelter with my 13-year-old blind dog. No. 12, almost 13. So I'm not going to leave my mom high and dry. There's things that need to be done. I'm going to be so disappointed if that contractor turns into yet another person and fucks me over in this life, okay? Nobody said you had to replace the shower you offered. Especially when I was telling you that prior to this all crap happening, my mom had paid $800 for custom designed sliding glass doors. $800, okay, to replace the ones that were really old here before she ever had moved in, and they fell apart. And we got custom designed ones. So, kind of sucks to have to, she did get the $13,000 bathroom, but to have to lose out and then have these crappy ones that are potentially dangerous, and need to do under that stove too, but we know the mouse was living in the stove. Maybe a handful of you saw those videos where I filmed the mouse going up. We don't use our stove. We use the top burners, but we haven't been using the stove. I mean, it's a self-cleaning oven. I don't know how to do it. No. A bed frame, she asked someone from church, and they haven't got back to us, which kind of tells me they don't really want to do it, or they don't believe that it doesn't take tools. So I thought that after I vacuum my room, I will try to put the bed frame together, but I don't have friends around here. I have out-of-state friends. My mom I have to rely on her. The only way that fucking bed's going to be set up is if she gets someone, guilts them into, I don't know, just gets someone, begs them to do it. Guys from church, her church had agreed to put the mattress on the bed frame, but then she's asking them to put the bed frame together, and they might think that's going to take a long, long time. It supposedly won't. It's a latex for less. It says if you looked it up, the bed frame that goes with that mattress, the latex mattress, says no tools required. And you know me, if I find out that it does require tools, I haven't opened it, and I'm going to be pissed. If it says no tools required, that means no tools required. Which means it's supposed to just fit into slots, but I don't trust anybody or anything, so justifiably. I told Joe that. I don't trust anyone but you. And you say, well, how sad you can't trust your mom. When push comes to shove, I can't. When push comes to shove, I really don't completely, you say, what about Selena? I mean, Joe has been in my life for 26 years, okay? My mom's mental illness causes her to throw me under the bus just because if she's afraid of, just of anything, or, she's gotten all flustered when the bus driver's treating me like crap and she doesn't want me to say anything. Bus driver has no right to threaten you. They're going to throw you off the bus if you're speaking to another passenger, in this case about my mom. I mean, to my mom, even if I'm bitching about what happened, that we waited for over an hour or something, we weren't, whatever it was that I was bitching about was legitimate. But the fact is, if I'm not talking to you, Mr. Bus Driver, and I'm not causing a scene and screaming and yelling, you have no right to throw me off the bus or threaten to throw me off the bus. And of course my mom's like afraid of all authority, so she's like, even perceived authority, like bullshit bus drivers who need to realize that they work for me, they work for us. They are not king of the bus, okay? And she's witnessed it, but she gets all scared when I stand up for myself. I'm not a troublemaker. But I have a right, if I'm waiting for a long, long time especially if I'm calling and being told, oh, they'll be any minute, and then it doesn't happen, I have a right to be perturbed. Especially if I don't say one word to the bus driver, but he overhears me. We hadn't even left yet. He's talking to my mom, and he's gonna threaten one more word out of you, and I'm gonna throw you off this bus. Like, what the fuck? What are we, in communist China? For example, okay. But my mom is afraid of all, like, whatever. Okay. Proof of that is, my family used to badmouth me. My mom wouldn't even say boo, even when, she'd sit there and listen to them rip me apart. When I was in California and there, but then she'd later tell me blah, 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 it's like, but that's her nature, okay? So, no, I cannot trust her because she's too beaten down by the system, okay? So 100%, when push comes to shove, Joe's the only one I trust completely. Okay? That's just reality. And by trust, you're not going to break my heart. You're not going to hurt me. You're not going to end our friendship for no, justifiable reason, or just because,